Hi, welcome to your Animal Report digital animal writing project. I'm so excited to be upgrading our project to this digital format that I think you're going to absolutely love. Let's get started. First of all, this slide deck includes a total of 25 slides, but not all slides will be used, possibly. Most of them will be used, but some of them you might find that you won't have any use for, or we may not even have time to get to all of them. So let's go ahead and start with our very first slide. Slide number one is our title slide. You're going to need to type your name in the green box or the yellow box, and then type your animal name in the blue box. The next slide includes websites that you can use to get you started. It includes your Epic website with the class code, but I've spread out from Epic and wanted to give you an opportunity to also visit these sites. These sites are approved for you. Please don't go beyond these sites. Use these links to get you started and to find information. So there's National Geographic Kids, there's San Diego Zoo, there's Science Kids, and then there's Animal Fact Guide. So you can use all of these are approved and good for you to do. Please don't Google your animal. Use these websites. Next is a section of notes. There are 6 slides for notes that I want you to focus on, similar to the notes that you had in your paper report, but I think these are going to be a little bit easier for you to follow. Let's zoom in and take a look. First of all, this first slide deals with babies. What are the babies like of your particular animal? Um, your animal as a baby. I want to know what they look like, how many are born at once, how long do they stay with parents, what do they eat, and any other interesting information. You're going to know you will notice that there are 5 questions, or 4 questions and then other interesting information. And the research that you found in this column has 1, 2, 3, 4 bullets. So you can answer each one of these questions in the 4 bullets that are given for you there. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. You have questions for your topic that you can then answer in these bullet sections on this side. I hope that makes sense. That's the same for appearance. What does your animal look like? What are the characteristics of your animal? And this one also has 4 different questions. What features do they have? What special markings? Are they related to or look like another animal? Then there are notes about diet. What does your animal eat? How often does it eat? What is something interesting about it? Then adaptations. An adaptation is a behavior, a part, or a covering that helps an animal survive in its habitat. I want you to try to find 3 or more adaptations that help your animal survive. For example, birds have wings. That is an adaptation. It allows birds to fly. Some birds, like ducks, have special feathers that allow it to float, feathers on the bottom of its body that are different from its wings. Ducks also have flat bills. That's a third adaptation. The flat bill allows it to dig into the mud in the water in order to dig out grubs and worms and other different insects, like a shovel. So, all 3 of those would be adaptations for your animal. Okay. Then we have habitat. Habitat has a lot of questions. You may not find all of these questions, but these are really good questions to have answers to, so that you can write about this even more. Next is human impact. This one is cool because we impact animals and environment all over the world all the time. And these questions are specific to: how is your animal impacted by humans? And what challenges does your animal face due to humans? For example, are we destroying their environment? Are we creating changes by pollution, or um, cutting down trees or things like that? Are we creating problems? How are we impacting the animal? Those are all of your note slides that you're going to need to fill out. So you may already have some of that information found, or you may want to add some of that information with the websites that I've also given you on top of Epic. Okay, Here's our next section. Our next section includes the presentation that you're going to be able to give once we are all finished with our projects. I do want to give you an opportunity to tell about your animal, and this is where it's going to start on slide 9. You're going to be able to put your title here with your animal name and then your name, and you're going to be able to insert an image. Let's talk about inserting an image. When you insert an image, you can choose Insert an Image and search the web. From here, you can search for your animal, and there may be different animal pictures that come up. You can then click and drag that image into your slide, and then you can adjust the shape. Here we go. Cool beans. So that is inserting a picture. You'll also notice that right here on the side of the slide are some side directions. When you present your slideshow, those side directions do not show up. So you don't have to worry about deleting those or getting rid of those. Those are there to help you and give you directions. So use those. For example, on this slide, you're going to write your introduction. Remember, your introduction needs to hook your reader and tell the reader what they're going to learn about in the presentation. You're going to use vocabulary words, and if you have vocabulary words that your reader does not necessarily know, you might want to add those in bold. We're going to create a glossary down at the bottom. That'll be exciting. So this slide is for your introductory paragraph. You can click on this box, and this is where you're going to write your introduction to your writing report. Remember, your introduction is going to tell your reader exactly what you're going to be telling me about. You can also insert a picture here, and you can insert a fun fact down here at the bottom. The next slide is a paragraph about the babies. This is where you're going to write a paragraph all about the offspring of your animal. You can include your pictures here, but I also want you to pay close attention. Not only do you have a picture, but you also have a caption. Captions are descriptions or definitions of what you have in this picture. So if I put platypus babies, and I want to insert this right here, then I'm going to resize it. And here I'm going to say platypus babies just born. Those are newborn platypus babies. So you're going to explain what the picture is. Okay? All right. So don't forget the captions once you insert the image there. All right. Again, you can insert important vocabulary words and make them bold. You're going to do the same thing for appearance, which is going to be a paragraph about how your animal looks, what features they have. You'll insert a picture and you may give a fun fact. And this is a place too where you can give a diagram. When you give the diagram, what you're going to do is you're going to find a really cool picture of your animal. And here's a cool picture of a platypus. And using this picture of a platypus, you are going to label the parts of the platypus. You can use the arrows to point to your platypus, and I'm going to use this arrow right here, and I'm going to move it to where it points this direction. Okay. And I'm going to label it. So I'm going to click and drag this label, and that is the platypus bill. Okay, so I'm using my arrows and my labels to click and drag and label the diagram of the animal. Now, you may actually find a diagram of your animal, and if you do, you can certainly use that inside your inside this slide. Platypus diagram. Not really finding a platypus diagram. This one is going to be a little too detailed, right? No, number one, it's just a skeleton. And number two, the writing is just too small. So that's not going to work at all. So you may just want to find a picture of your platypus and insert it. Okay. And label it yourself. All right. So let's go on to diet. Your animal could be a carnivore, an omnivore, or an herbivore. A carnivore is an animal that eats only meat. An herbivore or an omnivore is an animal that eats meat and plants, and an herbivore eats only plants. You can then insert pictures of the types of food that your animal eats and make sure that you put a caption there. Adaptations. Remember, this is an adaptation that's a behavior, a part, or a covering that helps an animal survive. You're going to insert another picture of your animal, and then here is where you're going to type the 3 adaptations that you found. If you found more than 3 adaptations, just choose 3 that you really liked and insert them there. In slide number 10, you're going to write a paragraph about your habitat. Where does your animal live? What kind of plants grow there? What kind of climate is it like? And then also on slide 17, you're going to slide the circles over and position them where in the world your animal lives. Your animal may live in more than one place, so you're going to have more than one circle wherever it lives. You need to put a transparent circle there. Slide number 18 and 19 are both slides that you can add interesting information about your animal. Did you know, fun facts, other photos that maybe you really like that you wanted to use. And then on page 20, you're going to talk about the human impact. What is the impact that humans have had on your animal? Are they endangered or are they almost extinct? Are they affected by pollution or deforestation? What can we do to help your animal? And then your conclusion is just reminding me what you talked about, reinforcing why your animal is really important, and reminding us how we can take action to help your animal. You can also include information about where we can learn more, and you possibly could end by asking your audience a question. Last is the glossary. We may or may not do the glossary all together, but if you want to, you can certainly include it. Remember up here above in our paragraphs, I asked you to possibly include words that are bold. If you included a bold word inside any of your slide paragraphs, then you want to include it inside the glossary. Here you can put your bold word and then you can write the definition to the word. Pretty cool, huh? 23, slide 23 talks about the sources that you used. Up at the top, you have on slide number 2 your EPIC book collection, National Geographic Kids, San Diego Zoo, Science Kids, Animal Fact Guide. I want you to have at least 2 resources from EPIC, and then you can use any of these others as sources as well. Whatever source you used, I just want you to list and tell me what you used. If you use EPIC, I want you to give me the title of the book. What 2 titles did you use? And then give me the websites that you used as well. On slide number 24, this is all about you. You are a 5th grader. You can take a selfie by going to Insert Image, opening up your camera, allowing it to be used, and taking a selfie. You can then insert your selfie here into your box and you can change your name. You can write a short paragraph about you, your family, your people, things you care about, your favorite animal, why you chose your animal, and you are a 5th grader. Last but not least is slide number 25. This is just an extra slide in case you had some really cool information that you wanted to share about your animal that you weren't able to share it anywhere else. If you choose not to use slide 25, you can leave it or you can delete it. It's completely up to you. Okay. Whew, I know that was long, but it was worth it. If you have any questions, go back through this video and identify where you can use the markers to identify where you need to get help with, or you can go to certain sections. And I look forward to seeing what you do with your animal research project. Yay!